July 2025, three Aussie mates set out on rental motorcycles from Eagle Rider in Los Angeles to embark on what was to become a 5,000-mile, 21-day road trip across 8 states in the United States, including California, Nevada, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, Colorado and Utah, covering varying landscapes and temperature extremes. The intent of the road trip was to attend the Sturgis motorcycle rally in the Black Hills of South Dakota and to ride iconic roads, visit historic towns and scenic national parks, and to experience the homely culture of the people. This is day 6 of our journey and we're into Montana. Good morning, folks. So I'm in Salmon in Idaho and I'm standing on the banks of the Salmon River. It's also known as the River of No Return. So it flows for about 425 miles through central Idaho, drains a fairly large area. It drops for 7,000 feet. It starts at the Galena Summit where we were yesterday, and it flows through the Sawtooth Valley, and then it flows the 400 odd miles through to the Snake River. That's a beautiful river, so pristine and crystal clear. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're heading from Salmon up the 93 through the Bitteroot Valley, and we'll ride alongside the Bitteroot River. We'll head into Missoula and we're going to head to Grizzly Harley Davidson and have a bit of a look around in there. Probably buy some good Harley souvenirs. From there we head down the interstate and then head south to Phillipsburg and then across through Anaconda to Butte for the night. So we'll probably try and fit in a visit to Copper Canyon Harley Davidson there. It's one Harley Davidson dealership that I haven't been to, so I'll see if I can drag the boys along. It's pretty crisp this morning. It should warm up once all these clouds in the sky burn off. They burn off a fair bit already, but this is going to be a beautiful ride. The boys are going to love it. Virgin territory for them. I've done the 93 a number of times, but just sit back and enjoy this beautiful ride. Well, we're finally on the road after a typically huge American breakfast. I've been here for 2 weeks now and I feel I'm really stacking on the weight. We've actually taken to having really light lunches where we can. We're currently travelling north on US 93 and the first stage of the trip is through flat farmlands and then some minor gorges along the Salmon River until we reach the village of North Fork, where the Salmon veers westward as it carves its way through the deep Salmon River gorge. Onwards from North Fork, we travel along the North Fork of the Salmon River, a minor tributary compared to the main Salmon Fork. This area comprises the Salmon Chalice National Forest, which covers 4.3 million acres of public lands primarily in northern Idaho, a land of rugged mountains split by untamed rivers. The forest, one of the largest national forests in the lower 48, is rich with America's heritage. This portion of the forest, the northern section, is specifically the Salmon Forest, where you'll find historic cabins, ranger stations, lookouts, mining ghost towns, and the Lewis and Clark and Napier National Historic Trails. The roads mirror the river and align with tall Douglas fir and lodgepole pine. First stop today will be at the Idaho-Montana state line, located on the Lost Trail Pass at an elevation of over 7,000 feet. It's also the junction for State Route 43, which winds east across the Continental Divide to the small Montana town of Wisdom. I got that one, mate, that fucking deer. Chief Joseph Ranch is a historic ranch nestled just south of the town of Darby on US 93 in the scenic Bitteroot Valley of Montana. We've visited this area several times before, and the ranch spans 2,500 acres and offers stunning views of the surrounding mountains and forests. Known for its serene atmosphere, the ranch has a rich history and served as a backdrop for the television series Yellowstone and 1923. In both, it has the character name of the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. Visitors can stay in the cabins, including the character Rip's cabin, and explore the well-preserved structures and enjoy a range of outdoor activities such as hiking, horseback riding, and fishing in nearby streams. Darby is located 60 miles south of Missoula on Highway 93. It was first settled in 1882, and on July 4th, 88, the valley's southernmost town officially became the town of Darby. At that time, the town consisted of a general store, saloon, livery stable, and a boarding house. The town grew, and at various times there was a bank, drugstore, newspaper, theatre, bakery, and doctors and dentist offices located in Darby. Probably the main reason for the changes in Darby's businesses was a fire that swept through the town, destroying everything except the old Miles building on Main Street. It was later remodelled and became a grocery store. Darby began as a mining and fur trading town, gradually changing to logging, agriculture and cattle ranching. In 1910, 4 farmers had successful apple orchards around the town of Darby. In 1960, Darby had a population of only 9, and today 1,000 people call Darby home, with ranching and tourism being the main industries. This is Phillipsburg, although we're not actually in the town. Just a gas station and restaurant. Big ski run up there. The Pintler Veterans Memorial Scenic Highway of Montana is a 64-mile ride that includes breathtaking views of towering mountains, a wonderful lake that provides outstanding recreational opportunities, and gorgeous ranch land on your way to the charming historic mining town of Anaconda. The Pintler Scenic Route runs between the small town of Drummond on the I-90 and historic Anaconda, and even though it'll take you a little more time than remaining on the interstate, it's well worth this extra time and effort, particularly on a motorcycle. Motorcyclists riding on the Pintler Scenic Highway will enjoy the amazing landscape of the towering mountains of the Anaconda Range found within the Anaconda Pintler Wilderness, the blue ribbon waters of Georgetown Lake, the beautiful Flint Creek Valley where cattle is king, and the restored Old West mining town of Phillipsburg, where we stopped for lunch. Spanning 3,700 acres at an elevation of 6,500 feet, Georgetown Lake rests below the towering Anaconda mountain range of the Anaconda Pintler Wilderness. West on Interstate 90, the beginning of the Pintler Veterans Memorial Scenic Highway begins at Anaconda, which is a famously historic town that was part of the incredible copper mining era of the late 1800s and early 1900s that involved the richest hill on earth at Butte, Montana, which is located just 25 miles to the east of Anaconda. During the boom years, Butte became the main source of copper for electrical wiring around the world, and the famous War of the Copper Kings ensued, and the amazing history of Butte, Montana unfolded as hundreds of billions of dollars were made by three separate industrialists who were all wanting to be king of the hill. Anaconda was where all this copper was smelted. Built in 1919, the world-famous 585-foot tall smokestack in Anaconda is still today the world's tallest masonry structure as it towers over the town. The smelter itself was the world's largest non-ferrous processing plant that has ever existed. Because of this important connection, with 10,000 miles of copper mine shafts and tunnels under the town of Butte, Anaconda was heavily entwined in the fascinating and amazing history of the Butte area. In fact, Anaconda's history is one and the same with Butte and is an integral part of the Butte-Anaconda National Historic District. When the Anaconda smelter stack closed in 1980, everything changed with regard to the economy of Butte and Anaconda. But the rich history remains along with most of the historic buildings and structures throughout the Butte-Anaconda area. These buildings and structures are symbols of an incredibly significant and colourful time in American industrial history. As you drive down the 9-mile-long Highway 1 between Interstate 90 and the town of Anaconda, the smelter stack rises front and centre throughout the entire drive. made it into Butte for the night, but not before a visit to Copper Canyon Harley-Davidson. However, they were all out of merchandise due to the large number of riders passing through on their way to the 85th Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. That evening we hooked back up with Hud, Libby and the girls before heading to Butte's historic downtown for dinner. Join the Silver.gypsies on our next episode as we take the long way through the mountains to the historic coal mining town of Red Lodge in Montana.